I draw the line in the dust and toss the gauntlet before the feet of tyranny, and I say segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever.
It was that belief that guided politicians in the 1960s into making many of the urban planning decisions that became a reality in the U.S. At the expense of their cities, planners segregated neighborhoods. Many developers created a plan that would create a lasting solution that can still be seen today.
So redlining was a policy enacted in the 1930s during the Great Depression. And one of the first steps of this process was the government created this agency called the Homeowners Loan Corporation, the HOLC. And the HOLC went city by city, every single city in the United States, and graded each neighborhood for investment worthiness based on race, based primarily on race. A being best, D being worst. And basically in those D zones, the government would invest less in public services, things like sewer maintenance, firefighting. And in addition, banks were directed not to loan to people in those areas that received the lowest grades, and they specifically deprioritized neighborhoods that did not have white, or neighborhoods that were non-white.
Over time, the neighborhoods that local governments had chosen to divest in had lower property values and were able to be bought up by local governments to supposedly clean up the areas, often with little to no input from the people that still lived there.
The highways have the added benefit of being able to physically make that connection to the suburbs better. It's prioritizing that long distance suburban transit from the suburbs to the CBD over the local access of the surrounding neighborhoods. The communities that remain divided by these highways still have to deal with the pollution, still have to deal with the reduced mobility.
Now, as cities look to redevelop, planners are including people they previously had not. Abraham Diallo is a communications specialist for Washington, D.C.'s Department of Transportation. His passion for better planning came at a very young age.
I am one of the very few Washingtonians, native Washington D.C. native, born and raised. Shortly during the housing crisis between 2005, 2008, my family actually relocated to right outside the city. And it was during that move that I noticed the significant impact of living in a very dense, kind of amenity-rich area versus to the one we moved. All those things kind of impacted the quality of life that my family and I had, especially for my parents who were immigrants to this country. And as a first-generation American, those services definitely sustained us.
As a liaison between the Washington, D.C. government and the Department of Transportation, Diallo sees the human impact that freeways are having on the communities they displaced. But as Washington's traffic, the second worst in the nation, continues to worsen, local governments are more open to changing the existing state of things.
It's cheaper, it's more sustainable, and actually, it also addresses many issues that we need to address in our society: climate change, sustainability, equity.
As infrastructure ages and communities begin looking for more sustainable options for the future, advocates are winning support for cities to begin to ditch the building of freeways as a way to segregate neighborhoods. Anthony LaBruto, VOA News, Washington.